She said, "You need to turn down that promotion. I'm not moving to Silicon Valley for your career." I replied, "I'd never force you to move." Then I accepted the job. She found out how serious I was when the packers showed up for my things only. I 29 male just made what's either the best or worst decision of my life. Sitting in my empty apartment right now, boxes everywhere, and I honestly don't know how to feel. 3 weeks ago, I got the call. The call. Senior software architect position at one of the major tech companies. Not FAANG, but close enough. 195K base, stock options, signing bonus, the works. The catch? It's in Silicon Valley. I'd have to relocate from the Midwest. I've been with my girlfriend Helena, 27, for 4 years, living together for 2. When I got home that day, I was bouncing off the walls with excitement. This was it. The opportunity I'd been grinding for since college. The late nights, the side projects, the boot camps, all leading to this. Helena's reaction was not what I expected. "That's nice, babe," she said, barely looking up from her phone. "When did you say no?" I thought she was joking. "What?" "I haven't responded yet. I wanted to talk to you first." That's when she put her phone down and gave me this look, like I was a child who'd just asked for a pony. "Marcus, you're not seriously considering this." "Why wouldn't I? This is huge, hell. It's almost triple what I'm making now." "Money isn't everything," she said, which was rich coming from someone who insisted we eat out 4 nights a week and buy name brand everything. "My whole life is here. My family, my friends, my yoga studio. You can't expect me to just abandon everything." Here's the thing about Helena. She works part-time as a social media manager for her friend's boutique. Makes maybe $25 a year. Not knocking the work, but she's always talked about wanting more. Travel, nice things, a house. This job would give us all that. "We could visit," I suggested. "It's a 2-hour flight. And think about what we could do with that salary. You could start your own business, or not work at all if you didn't want to." "I like my job," she said, which was news to me considering she complained about it constantly. "And what about my family? My mom needs me." Her mom lives 45 minutes away and they see each other maybe once a month. But okay. We went back and forth for hours. I suggested compromises. I could go first, get settled, she could join later. We could try it for a year. We could keep our apartment here as a backup. Every suggestion was shot down. Finally, she stood up and delivered her ultimatum. "You need to turn down that promotion. I'm not moving to Silicon Valley for your career. If you loved me, you wouldn't even consider it." I looked at the woman I thought I'd marry someday and said the only thing I could, "I'd never force you to move." She smiled, kissed me and said, "Good, email them tomorrow." I did email them the next day. To accept the position. I know how that sounds. But here's what 4 years with Helena taught me. Every major decision in our relationship had gone her way. Where we lived, her choice. Where we vacationed, always near her family. What car I drove, she said my Honda was embarrassing. Hell, she even dictated my wardrobe. I'd convinced myself it was compromise, but looking back, it was just me folding every single time. This job was my line in the sand. I didn't tell her. Cowardly, maybe, but I knew she'd make the next 3 weeks hell if she knew. Instead, I quietly started preparing. Opened my own bank account. We had separate finances anyway. Started researching apartments. Began sorting through what I'd take and what I'd leave. The company gave me a month to relocate. They provided a moving service, temporary corporate housing, the whole package. I scheduled the movers for a Tuesday when Helena would be at her weekly spa day with her sister. That was yesterday. I left for work at my usual time but went to a coffee shop instead. The movers texted when they arrived. Professional crew had my stuff packed and loaded in 3 hours. I'd marked everything that was mine. My desk, my gaming setup, my clothes, my books. Left all the shared stuff, the furniture we bought together, even the TV I'd paid for but we both used. I'd typed up a letter explaining everything. Left it on the kitchen counter with my tea and a check for 2 months' rent. Lease was in her name anyway. My phone started blowing up around 2 p.m. What the hell is happening? There are movers here. Where are you? Marcus, answer your phone. This isn't funny. Are you seriously doing this? I didn't respond. What was the point? We'd already had the conversation. Then the calls started. A lot of them. I let them all go to voicemail. Finally sent one text. I told you I'd never force you to move. The apartment is paid through October. Good luck. Then I blocked her number. My flight to California is tomorrow morning. Already had my first day at the new job. The team seems incredible. My temporary housing has a view of the mountains. For the first time in years, I'm excited about my future. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared too. 4 years is a long time. Despite everything, I did love her. Or at least, I loved who I thought she was. My best friend thinks I'm a legend. My mom thinks I'm an idiot. My sister said, about damn time. I guess we'll see who's right. Update 1. Currently writing this from my temporary corporate housing. The last few days have been intense. First, the job is incredible. Even better than I imagined. My team is brilliant. The projects are cutting edge, and I'm already learning more than I did in 3 years at my old job. My manager took me to lunch on day 1 and laid out a growth path that could have me a principal engineer in 3 to 5 years. The campus has a gym, free food, and people actually seem happy to be there. But y'all aren't here for my career updates. Helena found ways around the block. Mainly through my family and friends. The entitlement has reached levels I didn't know were possible. Day 1 after the move, my mom called. Marcus, Helena is hysterical. She says you just abandoned her. How could you do this? Mom, I told her about the job. She demanded I turn it down. I didn't. But to just leave like that, without talking? We did talk for hours. Her position was I had to turn it down or we were over. I chose the job. That poor girl is devastated. That poor girl was apparently devastated enough to drive to my mother's house and sob on her couch for 3 hours, painting me as a monster who'd left her with nothing. She conveniently left out the 2 months' rent I'd paid, or the fact that she'd issued an ultimatum. Day 2, my best friend Jake called. Dude, Helena is losing it. She's been calling everyone, saying you left her homeless and broke. She has a job and I paid 2 months' rent. How is that broke? Yeah, about that. She's telling people you cleaned out the apartment, took everything, even her grandma's china. I took my gaming setup and my clothes. I have photos of everything I took and none of it was hers. I figured. Just wanted to warn you, she's on a campaign. Day 3. This is where it got interesting. Got a call from an unknown number. It was Helena's mom, Darlene. Marcus, what you've done is unconscionable. You've destroyed my daughter. Darlene, I accepted a job. Helena chose not to come with me. A job? A job? You threw away 4 years for money? I threw away 4 years because your daughter thinks she can control every aspect of my life. She told me about this so-called promotion. $200K, please. No tech company pays that much. You're either lying or you're going to get scammed. I actually laughed. Darlene, I'm already here, already working. The job is very real. Well, I hope it's worth it when you're old and alone. Considering I'm 29, I'll take my chances. She hung up on me. Day 4. Here's where Helena really showed her true colors. I got a text from an unknown number. It was screenshots of Helena's Instagram stories. She'd posted, when you support someone through their struggling years only to be abandoned the moment they make it. Remember, ladies, if he's willing to leave you for money, he was never yours to begin with. Followed by, packing up the apartment he left me in, alone, because apparently love means nothing when there's a paycheck involved. The comments were brutal. Dozens of her friends calling me trash, a user, a narcissist. The narrative was that I'd used her for support during my struggling years when I was making $65 and paying 70% of our bills, and dumped her the second I got successful. But the best part, the final story. If anyone knows any good lawyers, DM me. I need to know my rights. 4 years together should mean something legally, right? That's right. She was researching if she could get alimony from a boyfriend. Jake screenshotted everything and sent it to me with, "Bro, she's lost it." Also, common law marriage isn't a thing in our state, I checked. Day 5, today, woke up to an email, not from Helena, from her father who I'd met maybe 5 times in 4 years. Subject regarding your obligations. Marcus, I'm writing to discuss the situation you've created with my daughter. As you know, Helena made significant sacrifices to support your career ambitions. She turned down opportunities, invested her time and energy in your relationship, and built her life around your partnership. Your sudden abandonment has left her in a precarious position, both emotionally and financially. While there may not be legal obligations, there are certainly moral ones. I propose the following. 1. You continue paying her rent for 6 months while she transitions. 2. You provide a separation settlement of $25,000 for her pain and suffering. 3. You return to mediate a proper ending to the relationship. This is a generous offer considering the circumstances. I await your response. Robert. I actually had to read it twice to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. This man, who couldn't be bothered to attend his daughter's birthday parties, was now trying to negotiate a breakup settlement for a girlfriend. I forwarded it to my new company's legal team. They offer personal legal consultation as a perk. Silicon Valley is wild. Their response was basically, lol no, but keep all communications in case she escalates. I didn't respond to Robert, but I did respond to something else. See, Helena had one more card to play. She reached out to my ex Sarah, the one person she knew I'd still have complicated feelings about. Helena convinced her to text me. Hey Marcus, heard about what happened with Helena. That was really cruel, even for you. I thought you'd grown since we dated. Guess I was wrong. That stung. Not gonna lie. Sarah and I had ended things amicably 2 years before I met Helena. We'd just grown apart. To have her think badly of me. But then I remembered something. Sarah follows me on LinkedIn. She would have seen my job update, so I checked Helena's Instagram again. Jake was my spy, and there it was. A comment from Sarah on Helena's abandoned me post. So sorry this happened to you, hun. Some people only care about money. You deserve so much better. Sarah, who knew exactly what job I'd taken because I'd posted about it. Sarah, who knew what tech salaries look like because she works in HR. Sarah, who was choosing to play along with Helena's victim narrative. That's when I realized I wasn't just leaving Helena. I was leaving an entire circle of people who thrived on drama and manipulation. Blocked Sarah's number. Blocked Robert's email. Told Jake to stop sending me updates unless Helena did something that required legal action. Then I went for a hike in the mountains because I can do that now. Because I live in California. Because I chose my career and my future over someone who saw me as nothing more than a wallet with legs. The entitlement is staggering. The expectation that I should pay her to exist, that I owe her money for, what exactly? For letting me pay most of our bills? For controlling every aspect of our relationship? For demanding I turn down a life-changing opportunity? My signing bonus hits my account next week. I'm looking at apartments with mountain views. I'm building a life I actually want. And Helena? She's apparently still posting Instagram stories about being a survivor of financial abuse. The delusion is real, folks. Final update. This is going to be my last update because, honestly, I've moved on. But the way things concluded was so absurd, I had to share. 2 weeks after my last post, the entitlement reached its final form. Helena actually flew to California. I was leaving the office around 7 p.m., startup hours, when I saw her standing by my car in the parking garage. My first thought was, how the hell she found me? Then I remembered I'd tagged the company in my LinkedIn post. She looked different. Hair dyed, dressed like she was going to a club, full makeup at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday. This was Helena's win him back look. We need to talk, she said. No, we don't. Please leave. I flew all the way here, Marcus. The least you can do is hear me out. Against my better judgment, I agreed to get coffee at a public place nearby, mostly because I wanted witnesses if she went nuclear. The conversation was illuminating. I've been thinking, she started, stirring her latte. Maybe I was too hasty. Silicon Valley could be an adventure. Helena, you made your position very clear. You weren't moving for my career. I was emotional. You surprised me. But I've been researching, and you were right. There are so many opportunities here. I could start my wellness blog, maybe open a boutique yoga studio. There it was. She'd done the math on my new salary. That's great, but we're not together anymore. Her face went through about 6 emotions before landing on indignant. You can't be serious. 4 years, Marcus. You don't just throw away 4 years. You're right, you don't. Which is why I couldn't believe you were willing to end it over a job opportunity. I didn't end anything. You left. After you told me to choose between you and my career. I was testing you, seeing if you really loved me. And there it was. It had been a test, a power play, and when I didn't fold like I always had, her whole world imploded. Helena, adults don't test each other, they communicate. What followed was 20 minutes of her cycling through manipulation tactics. Guilt, I supported you through everything. Anger, you're a selfish bastard. Bargaining, we could do long distance for a while. Playing victim, you've ruined my life. Seduction, remember how good we were together? When none of it worked, she played her final card. Fine, if you won't take me back, you owe me. I owe you? Do you know how humiliating this has been? Everyone knows you left me. My reputation is ruined. The least you can do is compensate me for the damage. Your reputation is ruined because you told everyone a fictional sob story. I want $50,000. I actually laughed, out loud, in the coffee shop. For what? Emotional damages, lost opportunities, the fact that I had to restructure my entire life because of your selfishness. Helena, I'm not giving you $50,000. Then I'll sue you. For what? Breach of implied contract. We had plans, a future. Good luck with that. She stood up, knocking her chair back. You'll regret this, Marcus. When you're alone in your fancy apartment with your fancy job, you'll realize what you lost. I already know what I lost. Control, manipulation, someone who saw me as a bank account. I'm good with that loss. She stormed out. But not before trying one last manipulation. Sarah was right about you. Sarah, who's been married for 3 years? That Sarah? The one you convinced to lie about knowing my job situation? Yeah, Jake told me you've been harassing her too. Her husband contacted him. The look on her face when she realized I knew about her lies was almost worth the plane ticket she'd wasted. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, 1. She flew back home and tried to start a GoFundMe titled, Starting Over After Financial Abandonment. It raised $45 from her mom before being taken down for fraud. 2. She posted on LinkedIn about being a survivor of tech bro culture and how Silicon Valley steals men's souls. She tagged my company. My HR reached out to me about it. We had a laugh and they sent her a cease and desist. 3. Her friend, the boutique owner, fired her because she kept missing work to process her trauma, aka stalk my social media and create fake accounts to message me. 4. According to Jake, she's now dating some crypto guy who promises he's about to make it big, so that's going well. 5. Her dad sent one more email threatening legal action. My company's legal team responded with a beautiful letter that basically said, bring it. Haven't heard from him since. Meanwhile, I 1. Found an amazing apartment with a view of the bay. 2. Got invited to present at a major tech conference next month. 3. Started dating a software engineer from my team. Yes, we disclosed to HR. 4. Received my first stock vest worth more than Helena wanted in damages. 5. Actually feel happy for the first time in years. The funniest part? My mom called last week. Marcus, I owe you an apology. Helena, she showed up here again, demanded I give her your new address so she could claim her belongings. When I said you took nothing of hers, she admitted she just wanted to see your apartment to prove you were living beyond your means without her. I'm starting to see what you dealt with. Thanks, Mom. Better late than never. Also, she asked to borrow money. Of course she did. I gave her $20 for gas and told her to lose my number. I love my mom. So that's it. The woman who demanded I give up a $195,000 job to stay in a dying Midwest town where she could continue controlling my life while contributing nothing, is now single, unemployed, and trying to scam cryptocurrency bras. The entitlement never stopped. Even at the end, she genuinely believed she deserved tens of thousands of dollars for the crime of me accepting a job she didn't approve of. But here's what I learned. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When they issue ultimatums, call their bluff. When they try to control your future, choose yourself. Because at the end of the day, the right person would have said, "This is amazing, how can we make this work?" Instead, I got, "Turn it down, or we're done." Well, we're done. And I've never been better. Thanks for following along with this weird journey. I'm gonna go enjoy my view and my stock options in my life without someone who thinks love means control. Peace out.